Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about most important concept in economics, that is demand. So demand is the word which we will use very regularly in our conversations. When a common person is using the word demand, they are simply expressing about their desire. But as a students of economics, when we are discussing about the word demand, the demand meaning is more than desire. Now what is meant by desire? Desire means something we want badly is known as desire. So if you want something very badly, that is not a demand in economics. So in economics, if you want to say what is meant by demand, the demand means desire which is backed by ability and willingness. Now these words are added, that is ability and willingness are added, then that is known as perfect demand. Now what is meant by ability? Ability means purchasing power. That means we should have the money to purchase the commodity. And what is meant by willingness? Simply having money does not make it demand. So willingness means we are ready to use that money to purchase that particular commodity, then it is known as demand. Now you can complete the statement of demand. So what is meant by demand? Demand means desire which is backed by ability, that is purchasing power, and also willingness. That means we are interested to spend that money. If these three words are combined, then it is known as demand. Now if we have to explain the demand in a definition way, so the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is willing and able to purchase at a given price in a given time, that is known as demand. That means what? Always when we are talking about the demand, it should consist of the price. Without the price mentioned, the demand statement will become the invalid statement. So if we want to give a demand statement, it should consist of price. For example, the demand for Oppo phones is 100 when we say. You should not get the complete information. So if you add the price to that statement, then you can get the complete information. The demand for Oppo phone is 20,000 each in Vijayawada Big C in the month of November 2024. Then the statement will become a valid statement. And the second point is always demand is a flow concept. Flow concept means what? You cannot trace the starting point of the demand, you cannot trace the ending point of the demand. So demand is a continuous process. So these are the things you have to remember when you are speaking about, when you are talking about, when you are discussing about the demand. So demand means desire which is backed by ability and also willingness. Now, after knowing the demand, what are the determinants of demand? That means what? What are the factors that are influencing the demand of a commodity? So there are some factors. We will discuss about those factors. The first and foremost important factor determining the demand of a commodity is its price. Okay? When price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. That means what? The primary objective of any consumer is maximization of the profit, maximization of the satisfaction and minimization of the cost. That means what? They want to pay less amount but want maximum satisfaction. So when price is more, if we are paying more money, our satisfaction reduces. But when we are paying the less amount and getting more commodities, we feel more satisfied. So the first and foremost factor which is determining the demand of a commodity is its price. That means the price and demand are traveling in the opposite direction. When price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. So the first factor is price of the commodity. And the second factor is income. So income and demand both are like friends. Both travels in the same direction. When income increases, demand also increases. When income decreases, demand also decreases. So on the basis of income only, the demand of the consumer will be determined. But it is not same in all the types of commodities. That means what we are purchasing different types of commodities. There may be necessaries, there may be inferior goods, there may be superior goods. When our income increases, the demand for the superior goods increases, the demand for the inferior goods decreases, but the demand for the necessaries will remain constant. Okay, so this is the second factor. And what is the third factor? Prices of the related goods. Related goods are divided into two types. First one is substitutes. What is meant by substitute? The goods which can be used very conveniently in one place of the other. Okay, for example, Pepsi and Thumbs Up. Pepsi and Thumbs Up are the substitutes. Both are black in color, both have the gastric problem, so they can be used. So when the price of Pepsi increases, then the demand for the Thumbs Up increases. Why? Because people want to substitute one commodity for the other. That's why in case of substitutes, the demand relationship will be positive. And second one is complementary goods. Complementary goods means the goods which are used simultaneously. For example, bike and petrol. If only bike is there, there is no use. If only petrol is there, there is no use. If both are combined, then there will be some use. That means what? When price of bike increases or the price of petrol increases, then the demand for the bike decreases. Why? Because people will substitute instead of petrol bikes to the electrical bikes. So in case of complementary goods, the relationship will be inverse. When price of petrol increases, the demand for the petrol used bikes decreases. Okay, now this is the third factor. And fourth factor is taste and preferences. Okay, now taste and preferences are very important determinants of demand. What is meant by taste and preferences? What we like is our taste. What we like most is known as preference. For example, I like biryani. Biryani is my taste. Among biryani, chicken biryani is my preference. Okay, so that is known as the preference. Biryani is my taste, chicken biryani is my preference. So when I am purchasing any commodity, these taste and preferences play an important role. So these taste and preferences are influenced by advertisements. Okay, advertisements is known as the demonstration effect. What is meant by advertisement? Advertisement means which is an audio visual thing which is inspiring our senses by seeing, by listening, by smelling, by tasting, by touching. The demand can be changed. Okay, so these demonstration effect plays an important role in the determinants of the demand. So when advertisement attracts the people, then the demand will be completely changed. Generally, the goods which are sophisticated, the goods which are high-end, the goods which are modern will have more demand. The goods which are outdated, which are obsolete, the demand will be very less. And the last one is the other factors. In other factors, the size of population, composition of the population, climatic conditions, marital status, or we can say the education status, all these also affect the demand. More population, more demand. Less population, less demand. For example, in India, the population is 140 crores. So the demand will be very high in India. On the other hand, when we take the Vatican City, which is the smallest country in the world, the population is less than 10,000. So in that country, the population will be less, that's why the demand will be less. And the second factor is composition. In that country, how many